Hi there. Today we are going to learn about the language of an opinion editorial article. Let's start by reviewing the features of an opinion editorial article. First, they are generally short, varying from a sentence or two to 1,000 words or less. Second, they usually have a news peg, an introductory statement announcing the subject of the editorial, and tying it to a news development. Third, editorials usually discuss matters that are important to the readers. This means an emphasis on local problems and issues. Fourth, an editorial includes an objective explanation of the issue, especially a complex issue. Fifth, an editorial should be written in a professional manner. Good editorials engage issues, not personalities, and refrain from name-calling other petty tactics of persuasion. 6. An editorial offers an alternative solution or solutions to the problem or issue being discussed. 7th, an editorial has a solid and concise conclusion that powerfully summarizes the writer's opinion. Give the ending some punch. 8. An editorial is impersonal. 9th, an editorial should be relevant. It must be able to relate it to the lives of the readers. 10th, an editorial must be clear. It uses an easy-to-understand language and terminologies. Here are the learning goals we aim to achieve. Identify the style, diction, and tone used to organize opinion editorials based on the author's purpose and meaning and target audience. Identify the sentence structure commonly observed in opinion editorials. Check your understanding of the following words. What do you understand about style, diction, and tone? Now let's get to know what these words mean in terms of writing. Style is the way in which something is written, as opposed to the meaning of what is written. In writing, however, the two are very closely linked. As the package for the meaning of the text, style influences the reader's impression of the information itself. Style includes diction and tone. The main goal in considering style is to present your information in a manner appropriate for both the audience and the purpose of the writing. Consistency is vital. Switching styles can distract the reader and diminish the believability of the paper's argument. Now think of these. Have you ever looked at your own writing and identified what style you have? Or you have just begun finding your own style of writing? Let's talk about diction. Diction is word choice. When writing, use vocabulary suited for the type of assignment. Words that have almost the same denotation, dictionary meaning, can have very different connotations, implied meanings. There are 3 types of diction. There is formal diction. Example expressions are not mad or respectfully I must disagree. There is also an informal or casual diction. Example expressions are aren't mad or no way that's not true at all. Slang includes expressions like ain't ticked or you're full of it. Formal diction uses the proper definitions of words in a mostly serious tone. This is the style of workplaces, schools, and other formal environments. Formal language doesn't take any risks and can come across as bland or boring, but for the sake of clarity, it's the best choice when speaking to strangers or authority figures. Informal diction is the opposite of formal diction. It involves the playful use of words, including jokes and wordplay. Informal diction is the way you talk to the people closest to you, as opposed to strangers or work colleagues. It's best in casual situations, but it can sound out of place in serious situations. Diction with slang, an extension of informal diction, encompasses words and phrases that only a particular type of person understands. Slang is often divided by generation, such as Susie, used by Gen Z, and nifty, used by baby boomers. What diction do you commonly use at school versus at home? Or when talking to your parents versus when talking to your friends? What do you think is the appropriate diction when writing journalism articles like news and opinion editorial? Why do you think so? What is tone? The overall tone or attitude of a piece of writing should be appropriate to the audience and purpose. The tone may be objective or subjective, logical or emotional, intimate or distant, serious or humorous. It can consist mostly of long, intricate sentences, of short, simple ones, or of something in between. Good writers frequently vary the length of their sentences. One way to achieve proper tone is to imagine a situation in which to say the words being written. A journal might be like a conversation with a close friend where there is the freedom to use slang or other casual forms of speech. A column for a newspaper may be more like a high school graduation speech. It can be more formal, but it can still be funny or familiar. An academic paper is like a formal speech at a conference. Being interesting is desirable, but there is no room for personal digressions or familiar usage of slang words. What do you think is the appropriate tone when writing journalism articles like news and opinion editorial? Why do you think so? Let's study the following texts and apply what we have learned. Identify the diction and tone of the passages below. Engage the overall style based on author's purpose and target audience. Passage 1. Journal entry. School today was a mixed bag. Math was brutal. We had a surprise quiz on factoring polynomials and my brain totally froze. I think I left most of it blank. On the bright side, English class was awesome. We started this project where we get to create our own mini civilizations. I'm thinking about building a society based entirely on puns. How hilarious would that be? In this passage, the diction is informal and conversational. Words like brutal, froze, awesome, ugh, and hilarious sound like everyday teen speech. The tone is mixed but mostly cheerful. Frustrated about math, then excited and happy about the English project. And the style is first-person diary or journal style. Sounds like a student casually talking about their day. News article. 8th graders at Valenzuela National Elementary are spiking their way to success in a new volleyball unit. Ms. Lopez, the energetic PE teacher, says the focus is on teamwork and communication. It's all about calling out for the ball and setting up your teammate for a hit, explained Sarah Santos, a student captain. It's way more fun than just running laps. Looks like these spikers are serving up a winning attitude in PE class. In this passage, the diction is positive and energetic. Words and phrases like spiking their way to success, energetic, focus, fun, winning attitude make volleyball and PE sound exciting. The tone is encouraging and cheerful. The writer clearly feels proud of the students and happy about how they work together. And the style is like a short newspaper or school news article. It's written in third person, uses a quote from a student, and focuses on giving information while still sounding fun and interesting. Let's try different articles such as editorial, fictional, and informational texts. Read each text carefully and identify the diction and tone of the passages below. Engage the overall style based on author's purpose and target audience for each of the text. Let us read passage 1, which is an opinion article. There have been numerous reported cases of wild birds and marine animals said to be carrying this virus and its variants. as well as the documented spread to mammals beyond cows, such as cats, dogs, and mice. Should any of that determine the temperature at which I cook my eggs? And just as importantly, what should I tell home cooks who seek my advice on the matter? In this passage, the diction is a mix of everyday words and scientific terms like virus, variants, and mammals. The tone is concerned and questioning, the writer is worried and unsure, and the style is in first person, using questions to talk directly to readers. Now let's look at passage 2, which is a fictional text. I climbed up the shed and crept up to my window just before day was breaking. My new clothes was all greased up and clayey, and I was dog-tired. In this passage, the diction is informal. There are dialect-style words like greased up, clayey, dog-tired, and non-standard grammar. The tone is tired but tense and sneaky as the character climbs quietly before dawn. And the style is in first-person narrative that tells a story and describes actions. Passage 3 is a medical informational text. Our muscular heart, the main organ in your cardiovascular system, is vital for life. Its parts work together to move blood through your body in a coordinated way. It constantly sends oxygen to your cells and takes away waste. Many conditions can affect this organ and keep it from working well. In this passage, the diction is formal and scientific with terms like cardiovascular system, oxygen, conditions. The tone is serious and informative, focused on giving clear facts. And the style is expository medical text in third person, explaining how the heart works. We will now discuss about sentence structure used in opinion editorial articles. Before we start, let's have this activity. Tell whether formal or informal language is used in each situation. Number 1, job interview. The language used is formal. Number 2, texting a friend. The language used is informal. Number 3, posting on social media for fun. The language used is informal. Number 4, writing essay. The language used is formal. Number 5, emailing a teacher. The language used is formal. Remember, in writing, diction determines the words you use, which consequently determines the writing style and type of tone you use. Through diction, a writer can sound friendly or serious, knowledgeable or clueless, poetic or dry. Let us recall the different sentence structures. Sentence structure is the order of all the parts in a sentence: subject, predicate, objects, phrases, punctuation, etc. There are 4 types of sentence structure, which are simple sentence, compound sentence, complex sentence, and compound complex sentence. Simple sentence has one independent clause. Example, I like to read books. Compound sentence has 2 or more independent clauses. Example, I enjoy basketball and I like soccer too. Complex sentence has 1 independent clause and 1 or more subordinate clauses. Example, she was sad when the dog ran away. Compound complex has 2 or more independent clauses and 1 or more subordinate clauses. Example, I was on a hurry so I left my keys on the table because I was running late. We will now read an article and we will identify the sentence structure used by the author. Let's begin. Still unresolved is the great debate about what our national dish is: sinigang or adobo. The structure of this sentence is complex. It has 1 independent clause and 1 subordinate clause. But there is no question what majority would pick as our country's national fish. The structure of this sentence is complex. It has 1 independent clause and 1 subordinate clause. Bangus, milkfish, is sold everywhere. from the rocky hills of Baitens to the beautiful islands of Taui Taui. The structure of this sentence is simple. It has one independent clause. It is consumed by Filipinos of all religions, and is raised in fresh, brackish or salty water. The structure of this sentence is simple. It has one independent clause. I grew up surrounded by Bangus fish ponds which, like clockwork, were drained to become salt beds in the summer. The structure of this sentence is complex. It has one independent clause and one subordinate clause. The flooded salt beds were fed by the narrow Zapoti River which meandered through Las Piñas and the edge of Bacoor. The structure of this sentence is complex. It has one independent clause and one subordinate clause. At the end of summer, before seawater was let into the nearly empty salt beds, neighbors were allowed to wade in and catch what they could except for prawns and bangus. The structure of this sentence is complex. It has one independent clause and one subordinate clause. That was usually on a Sunday to allow more townsfolk to participate in the picnic where beer, tuba, and lambanog flowed. The structure of this sentence is complex. It has one independent clause and one subordinate clause. Pulutan was aplenty, tilapia, bagaong, bia, sway, and occasional crab and oysters from the river. The structure of this sentence is simple. It has one independent clause. The fish called bid-bid, a pest with insatiable appetite for bangus fry, was considered too bony to eat as pulutan. The structure of this sentence is simple. It has one independent clause. It was cleaned and prepared like daing na bangus, which it tasted like after being sun-dried and fried crisp. The structure of this sentence is complex. It has one independent clause and one subordinate clause. Let us now answer activity number 2. Analyze the diction used in each of the passage. You need to identify the diction and tone of the passages below, and gauge the overall style based on author's purpose and target audience. Let's read each passage. The heart is a fist-sized organ that pumps blood throughout your body. It's your circulatory system's main organ. Muscle and tissue make up this powerhouse organ. The writer's purpose is to inform the reader about the heart and its function in the circulatory system. Target audience is general readers, especially students or anyone seeking basic scientific and health information. And the diction is simple, clear, scientific, and with descriptive words like fist-sized, pumps blood, circulatory system, powerhouse organ. Sisig has been a mainstay in Filipino cuisine. One of the earliest records related to the dish dates as far back as 1732, after an Augustinian friar defined it in a dictionary he was working on. At the time, it was described as a salad of sorts that utilized green guava or papaya, dressed in salt, pepper, garlic, and vinegar. The writer's purpose is to give information and a bit of history about sisig and how it was first described. Target audience is people interested in Filipino food and culture, like food readers or students. And the diction is descriptive and slightly formal with food terms like cuisine, salad, dressed in salt, pepper, garlic, vinegar. Paints a picture of the dish. The world of social media today is vastly different from a decade ago. In recent years, platforms like Instagram and TikTok have evolved from entertainment hubs into powerful tools for information dissemination and education. The writer's purpose is to explain and comment on how social media has changed and is now used for learning and sharing information. Target audience is teens and young adults who use social media, and students studying media/technology. And the diction is modern semi-formal language with text/media words like social media, Platforms, tools, information dissemination, education. What are your takeaways about our discussion? Prior to writing, why is it important to identify your purpose and target audience? Time to reflect about the learning you achieved in our lesson. Ask these questions about yourself. What aspect of the lesson did I find most valuable to improve my skills in writing articles and essays? What should I practice more to achieve a well-supported write-up?